So about 2 weeks ago, I was invited to the OnePlus 7 and the OnePlus 7 Pro launch event, and I've not only seen the phones in person, but I also had a chance of having an actual OnePlus 7 Pro about a week before the actual event. So I was quite familiar with the OnePlus 7 Pro, but not so much in terms of the OnePlus 7. I obviously knew all the specs and how it would look like based on the leaks that we've seen, and we've even done a few videos on those as well, but OnePlus has only sent me the OnePlus 7 Pro, and I didn't really get to try the OnePlus 7, the regular OnePlus 7 out, well, until now at least. OnePlus has actually sent this over last week, the press kit for the regular OnePlus 7, and yeah, here's how it compares, here's what's inside, and how the OnePlus 7 compares to OnePlus 7 Pro. Okay, so taking a look at the reverse package itself, it does look almost identical to the one for the 7 Pro, just, you know, smaller. And this is still the best reverse package that I've seen, not just because of how it looks, but also because of what's included inside. The package itself has this red and white look, which looks really, really nice, just like the 7 Pro one actually. And inside we get the reverse manual, which is a 21-page long versus 45 pages long booklet on the Pro. Yes, quite a bit longer on the Pro. And this thing gives you a ton of insight into the main features of the OnePlus 7. And it's also one of the highest quality booklets that I've seen. And I really wanted to show you this for a bit, because not a lot of people get to see these in person, or even, you know, they don't get to see them at all, actually. So a few reviewers are the only ones to get to see these, and up until this year, I wasn't even one of them. And considering how much effort OnePlus has put into this booklet, made just for reviewers to learn more about their products, I do think that they do deserve a ton of praise for this. So yeah, thank you, OnePlus. And aside from this, we get two boxes, one of them being the OnePlus 7 box, which I'll cover in a second, while the other one being, not really sure actually. So with the 7 Pro, we got the Bullet Wireless 2 headphones, as well as the OnePlus Warp charge capable car charger, but yeah, here I'm not fully sure. So let's open this up, and it seems like we actually get not one, not two, but three OnePlus 7 cases. The first one being this classic sandstone case, which is just like the one we got with the OnePlus 7 Pro in that hidden drawer. Then the second one is the nylon bumper case, which is actually my favorite case so far. Got this as well in that hidden drawer with the 7 Pro's kit. And finally, the third one is something that was not included with the 7 Pro, and that is this red silicone case, which, okay, really love the way this looks. I wish OnePlus would have sent something over in red with OnePlus 7 Pro as well, this case, because it looks so sick. Okay, so now let's move on to, you know, the actual phone. Okay, so first off, I just love the way OnePlus boxes look. Yes, even better than Apple's with this red and white look. And inside the box, we get a booklet, which contains a free silicone case. So yeah, nice. Thank you, OnePlus. A SIM eject tool. We also get a OnePlus sticker, as well as a personal message from Pete Lau, the CEO and co-founder of OnePlus. And then we get to the actual phone, which I'm going to put aside for just 1 second. And other than that, we get the famous red and white OnePlus charging cable, and we also get a dash charger. Now, this is different from the 7 Pro's Warp charger, so it's not as powerful, but it's still 20 watts versus 30 watts on the Pro, so you can still charge the OnePlus 7 up to 50% in just 30 minutes, which is pretty impressive. Okay, so now what are my actual thoughts on the OnePlus 7? Well, design-wise, it looks very similar, pretty much identical actually, to last year's OnePlus 6T. And that's not really a bad thing. So the OnePlus 6T was still one of the slickest looking phones of 2018, and even today, I think it has an amazing design with almost no bezels, a fairly thin chin, and also that teardrop notch design. So yeah, as compared to the Pro, it doesn't look as modern or futuristic, but personally, I don't really have a problem with that. And that's because we actually get the exact same specs on the 7 as on the 7 Pro. So we get a Snapdragon 855 processor, we get 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM depending on which model you choose. So yeah, the same as with the Pro. Now with the Pro, we can also get a 12 gigabyte RAM option, by the way, but 6 and 8 gigabytes of RAM, those are the options that are found in both. Also, both of them come with UFS 3.0 storage in either 128 or 256 gigabytes of storage. And yes, they even have the exact same camera modules. So we have a Sony IMX586 sensor on both with 48 megapixels of resolution and f1.6 aperture, and we even get the exact same front-facing camera on both. So a 16 megapixel Sony IMX471 sensor with an f2.0 aperture. So these phones seem to be almost identical. So yeah, it's just the design that's different, right? Well, mostly. yes, the 7 Pro does feel much more futuristic, you know, with almost no bezels, a full screen display, but the 7 actually feels better in the hand. So it is thinner at 8.2 millimeters versus 8.8 millimeters on the Pro, and it feels more squared off in the hand, which I do prefer because it's less slippery than the 7 Pro is. Now, the 7's also smaller than the 7 Pro, with a display size of 6.41 inches versus 6.67 on the Pro. But yeah, at the same time, it's not that much smaller. So I could easily use the 7 as my daily driver. I wouldn't really mind that slightly smaller display. Now, aside from the display size, the big difference here is really when it comes to the display's resolution and the display's refresh rate. So we have a 2340 by 1080 AMOLED panel on the 7, versus 3120 by 1440 AMOLED panel on the 7 Pro. Also, the 7 Pro comes with a 90Hz refresh rate panel versus the standard 60Hz that the 7 has. And honestly, the Pro is the most fluid, by far the most fluid phone I've ever used. It's way smoother and more responsive than even the Pixel 3 or even the iPhone XS Max is. So yeah, it's the fastest phone on the market, and a big part of that is that 90Hz refresh rate panel. We've seen something similar on the Asus ROG gaming phone or the Razer phone, and everything you do feels 50% faster than on a regular smartphone. There's also a brand new haptic engine inside the 7 Pro, so typing on this feels amazing. This is honestly the best typing experience I've ever had on a smartphone. And aside from the design, the display, the haptic engine, another difference between the 7 and the 7 Pro is when it comes to the camera. So even though the front camera is identical on both, the 7 Pro does come with that raisable pop-up camera on the front, which does let the display be a true bezel display, which I do really like. And it also gives you that privacy since, you know, you don't have to worry about the front-facing camera spying on you. But if you take a lot of selfies or use screen unlock on the 7 Pro, it won't last as long as the 7 static camera. And on the back camera, even though the main module is the same, the secondary ones are not. So the 7 Pro comes with a triple lens camera module versus a dual lens camera module on the 7, and with the Pro, we get an ultra-wide angle module, which can capture significantly more in the shot than the 7 can. So I really love this a lot. Now, the 7 doesn't have that, and interesting enough, the 7 also lacks the 3x optical zoom module that a Pro has. So in that case, you're probably wondering, what is the second module on the 7 for? What does it actually do? Well, it is not a telephoto lens, but instead it is just a 5 megapixel depth sensor that can help improve portrait mode shots, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, other than that, these phones are very similar. Basically, the shots that you take with the main camera, by the way, are pretty much identical since, you know, the modules are identical. The speakers are dual speakers on both, so yes, the earpiece is now a speaker as well, and they do sound really good. A bit louder, by the way, on the Pro. I mean, aside from the lack of a cooling pipe on the 7, I would say that in most cases, you'll be happy with a regular 7. And price-wise, the 7 starts from £500 in the UK versus $650 on the Pro. So yeah, even though the Pro is a really good deal, well, the 7 is an even better one. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about the OnePlus 7? Do you think it's worth it overall? I would say it's pretty much a flagship killer for this price. It's one of the most worth it phones on the market. Overall, I would say it's worth it even more than the 7 Pro is. And the 7 Pro is already a crazy good deal for just $650. Now, this was not my full review by any means. That's coming in a few weeks, definitely on the Pro, by the way, so full review on the Pro is coming in a few weeks. If you want to see a separate full in-depth review on the 7, the regular 7, do let me know in the comments. By the way, the 7 won't be sold in the US. So yeah, if you live in the US, the 7 Pro is your only option. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in terms of both of these. Don't forget about the Ipod Touch 7th generation giveaway. Yes, we're giving one of those away, so all you have to do is just be a follower on Instagram @ZonOfTech and leave a comment on this post with the Ipod Touch 7th Gen renders saying why do you want to win and which color would you pick. And that's about it. I'll be announcing the winner on July the 1st on Instagram via DM and via story. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'm Daniel, and yeah, see you guys in the next one. ZonOfTech, signing out. Cheers.